Hey everybody, this is Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and today I've got a short comic book haul video for you. Now, these are books that I picked up from a lot of the prominent YouTubers who sell and whatnot that were at the New York Comic Con. Now, I couldn't go to the con myself. I'm getting ready to go to the Baltimore Comic Con, so I really had, and it's local, so I'm going to go to the one down here. I didn't have the time to go to New York Comic Con, but I actually thought that, a lot of these big time YouTubers, Very Gary, Mill Geek, Comic Tom, those guys are going to be at the New York Comic Con. They're going to have exclusives, and I figured that, I'm going to really pay attention to some of their shows after the show is over. I know they're going to have their books and everything, so the days following the convention, I followed a channel, and I ended up picking up a few books from several of these top comic book YouTubers out there. And I just want to go over some of the books, and let me show you what I got. All right, let's start with, let's start with Very Gary. And I didn't pick up a lot from him. They had some nice books and everything. I don't remember everything he had in the sale, but kind of looking to see what he had, and he had some exclusives from New York Comic Con. I only picked up two of these. He had Amazing Fantasy 1000. I believe this is Tyler Kirkham. It's an homage to the Jim Steranko Hulk annual. And he had the the Virgin version of the same thing right there. And I kind of like this. Had really pulled back from doing a lot of buying into these exclusive covers and everything. I've gotten away from it a little bit, and I think it's been a good thing, because I think everybody goes in hot and heavy and you pay money for them, and then later on there's so many of them that you lose value in it. But this one, being the homage that it is, I thought was pretty spectacular looking, and I kind of went in on this one right here, and I guess this is my way of being part of the New York Comic Con. I think this is an exclusive. I haven't really checked that exactly up there. I mean, exclusive up there in New York Comic Con. I think this is from Midtown Comics, actually. I think it's their book, actually. So, anyways, this is what I picked up from Very Gary. It was very nice. And then from Davis Ryder. Now, Very Gary and Davis Ryder both have shows on Whatnot on Tuesday nights, and I think they're back-to-back. And so I ended up being able to watch this, as I think last Tuesday I was able to watch both shows back-to-back and pick up these books and everything. So from Davis Ryder, I also picked up another copy of Amazing Fantasy 1000 with the trade dress. And you know me, when I pick up multiple copies of some of these things, I'm looking to probably get at least one or two of these slabbed. For the PC, I like this cover enough to have it in the PC. If it goes up in value, that's just a bonus. But so I picked up another trade dress of that. And then he had this right here. This is Briar #1. Now, this is a Comic Tom and Whatnot exclusive with the artist. The cover artist here is Zu Orzu. And it's the Virgin cover of this. And if you've read the story, it's really fascinating and everything. I think it's going to be a pretty hot property right now. But I picked this up. It was a good price. I don't remember the price right off, but it didn't break the bank, and I figured, okay, I've already ordered the other Amazing Fantasy. I like Briar. Let's go ahead and get this too. And then he also had this right here. He had The Boys #3. This is a reprint with a new cover by Jay Lee. Now, this is a homage to Amazing Spider-Man 129, and I'm reading my notes on the back here. This is a New York Comic Con exclusive with, let's see, I'm reading both the notes here, because I've got another one just almost like it. New York Comic Con exclusive from Davis Ryder and Whatnot. And so you've got this. This is a trade dress version, and then he had his version here. This is the New York Comic Con exclusive, the Virgin Smoke version. And I think this one, the Virgin, there's only supposed to be 250 copies of this, while the trade dress here is only supposed to be 500. So, yeah, it's like having a little bit of fun, trying to be part of New York Comic Con. I didn't go, so this is my way of being part of that and getting some pretty cool things. This is one of those things where Jay Lee ends up showing up at some conventions that I do go to, so I may hold on to these to try to get signed by him at some point. So that was from Davis Ryder. And then from Mill Geek Comics. And if you guys have watched, you know he and Comic Tom do a lot of YouTube shows together and everything, and they both have their own Whatnot shows. So from him, I also picked up another Amazing Fantasy trade dress, and from him I also got another one of the Virgins here. So I've gone in several times on this right here. Hopefully we'll get one. They're square bound, so I'm hoping that this is going to be really nice and I can get at least one of each into CGC. Also from Mill Geek, I picked up a pretty decent copy, not perfect copy of X-Men. This is 212, the Barry Windsor Smith on the cover here. Part of the Marauder storyline. It was good, but it really wasn't the quality that I liked. He was obviously doing other comics, rather than just everything from that was New York Comic Con exclusive. So when some of these older books that popped up, it's like, yeah, I kind of jumped on it because I love this book. I love this one and 213, two of my favorite X-Men books. And you know, guys, I've been struggling to get 9/8 on that, so I'm always picking it up when I can find it at a really decent price, figuring if there's a tick, then I can probably just resell it at some point. I'm not going to get this graded. It does end up having a tick over here, so it's like, okay, that's another one. I'm not going to bother to get that graded and get a lower grade or anything. He did have a copy of Firestorm #1. Excuse me. Yeah, Firestorm #1. This is from DC Comics. I never owned this comic. I think I owned some of the later issues and everything, but this is actually a pretty decent copy. It's got a few little ticks over there, but I think it actually could grade out pretty well with a nice clean and press. This one, however, will be a nice reader copy. I picked up Spectacular Spider-Man #1, the original #1 copy of this. And sorry, let's see if I can turn this and get that away from the light a little bit. I've got a really good copy I picked up from Heritage Auctions that will go into the clean and press and go into the CGC. This definitely is a reader copy, and I wasn't really paying attention when he was running it, and I realized after the fact, it's like, oh yeah, he did say reader copy. I wasn't really paying attention. This one's on me, so paid too much for this, but again, on me. And then he had this right here. It was a Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer, and again, I'm reading my notes here. It's an exclusive comic from Mill Geek and Comic Tom. And this is, of course, Zoo again, but it's also signed. And let me see if I can move this forward just a little. Can you see the signature right there by my finger? So this is signed, and I'm not a lot of spec on this, and it wasn't that expensive, but it was a signed book by a pretty popular artist, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'm into this right now. Let's get we can pick up some of these books. And I don't know if this was a New York Comic Con exclusive or just an exclusive from those guys, or a Whatnot exclusive. It's hard to tell these days who's working together and at what time, but I thought this was a pretty nice cover. I read the story and everything. That was kind of cool. You know, Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer, of course, that art is just fantastic and everything. And this cover is spectacular, and it's signed, and it didn't cost a lot. So I bought in on that. I don't know. I may send this into CBCS, just like my Asagi Jimbos back here, and get this graded and authenticated. And yeah, I'm looking down to see what else I've got. But that's it. This is everything that I've picked up from those guys, and these were the things that I picked up that a lot of these, like I said, came from New York Comic Con. These guys were doing their show from the hotel. I think they were probably doing them every day. Some of them had exclusive artists that were there and they were doing things. These specifically came pretty much after the show. You could tell they were in the hotel room and doing the show, but I know they came from after New York Comic Con. It wasn't during. So anyway, guys, that's it. Quick video today. This is what I picked up from, let's see, Very Gary, Mill Geek, and Davis Ryder. Now, I guess indirectly from Comic Tom as well. So there we go. That's what I got from these guys. I hope you like these books. I hope you like this video. If you like this kind of content, guys, please think about subscribing. And I thank everybody who's supported the channel so far. So thanks, guys. I will see you for the next one. Take care.